Hello and welcome back to the moulageathon.
How the fuck are we doing this?
Today we're talking about the K53.
The Dutch K53. From the
As opposed to what other K53 is there?
I don't know. Fucking can't fucking do this. I don't know. I think people would want to know it's Dutch though, so they can avoid buying it.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah. It's there's
Can you fucking stop laughing?
no. I mean, it's just so funny. Yeah. So
What, the Dutch?
I can't get away from this either.
This is your fucking idea.
Go over here. The K53 was the Netherlands
Standard service mask.
standard service mask adopted in the early 1950s. It's got a couple interesting features to it. Namely, it's one of the few masks that has a 40-60 integral.
Yeah, so in the inside, there are two sets of threads. The inner one being NATO 40mm, the outer set being 60mm, which is, I can only think of like maybe one other mask that did that.
Which is the Canadian C3, which is the
we
same
have one up there actually.
Yeah, actually, you want to grab
Yeah,
that?
I'll grab it.
Which is the same situation where they're coming out of World War II, and they've still got a shit ton of 60mm filters lying around, even though Ralph Nader has come to NATO and told them that they have to standardize on 40mm. So you end up with this situation of, well, how do we use what we currently have, and how do we use what we're going to get? And the answer is, well, they fit inside each other, so we'll just make them fuck. And
I mean, it's a pretty elegant solution if you ask me. I mean,
yeah.
there's
So obviously Canadians did it, and they're really interesting. Yeah, and it works. It actually that's by far the least problematic part of this mask.
And honestly, the benefit of a 60mm port is it's a lot more stable because it has more surface area. Obviously, it's going to affect how the mask fits because it's a stiff area that kind of prevents the mask from flexing to all individual facial sizes, but on the whole, it provides a lot more stability for the canister.
And you can see here, too, they cut this very close. This is actually conjoined down here.
Yeah, so what I'm thinking is, I could be very wrong on this, I don't know shit about Dutch masks, but
We try to learn as little as possible about them.
from what I could tell, just based on other Dutch prototypes that existed prior to this, it seems like their original intention, at least at first, was to have a centralized angle tube assembly with a slanted hose that came down like this, and then an outlet valve below here, and then maybe at some point in between they decide, well, maybe what if we do a diaphragm outlet angle tube assembly with a voice emitter up here, outlet valve down here, and then a hose coming out of this stem. But what ended up happening is they kind of slapdashed it together of, okay, we're just going to make a standalone inlet assembly, no voice emitter, and then the outlet valves on the bottom there. Which, you know, it isn't too bad. You have very good drainage down there, relatively speaking, and it's a very stable platform for the canister. At least they downward angled it as well, so it doesn't drag on the face piece too much.
Yeah, it's still kind of funky. I mean, it's very large for an exhale valve, and like you said, it's very obviously an afterthought. There's two versions of these. The other one is black, and it's a little bit squarer. It doesn't have this rounded as much, so it's not as mushroom-like. Other good features of the mask, obviously the lenses are threaded and very easily replaceable.
They're very similar to the Swiss SM74, where you have this threaded ring partition that sits behind the eye lens pocket, and the eye lens pocket itself is just a flat surface that the lens just sits on.
So this rubber that you see right here, this is part of the face piece.
It doesn't wrap around the entirety of the glass. Like, the glass just sits on top of the rubber in that little recess, and then this ring threads onto the ring behind it and just clamps it all into place. And it's a very, very elegant, convenient solution for this.
It uses the mask as a gasket, which in some cases could be a detriment. But here it
Yeah,
actually works out pretty well.
It could. There's an obvious potential of it working itself loose, but assuming it's properly torqued into place and it's checked regularly, I don't think that's going to be much of an issue. And I think for the period that was a very good solution.
Another good thing is that all the buckles are screwed on. There's actually a screw where you can take it out with a flathead. Replace the buckle very easy.
Again, very similar to the Swiss SM74, and I almost have to wonder how much of the Swiss, what's it called? The thing came before the SM74, the SM53.
Yes.
So the SM53, basically an SM74 with a slightly different harness and a hose and filter carrier system. Basically the same principle as this, and I don't really know which one came first or who copied who in terms of that buckle design, but it's a very good one, and something that I'd like to see a lot more companies mimic in the future.
Throw me the exhale valve.
Good catch.
Remember, kids, always do your stupid stuff off screen. So another really cool feature of this mask, which is bizarre because you almost never have this happen, is
like
that this exhale valve is U.S. industrial thread, honest to God. Here we have a Welsh MBU 13.
Fucker threads right on.
Right on. And you, of course, I'll let you do the honors. You know what that means.
Okay. So this is a Davis part number 3020W, which means it's the molded M2 style facepiece. Not a Davis M2, you fucking inbreds.
That's a separate mask entirely.
One that technically doesn't exist. Anyways, you can see that's just threading on there. No issue.
Folks, it's a very clean thread.
It's a Siamese twin. Inshallah.
They are boyfriends now.
I don't know what you want me to say about this.
I don't know either. This is a very chaotic mask. We could show the inside of it. Which, it pulls a lot from the German masks. I'm sure if you go back and look at the other Dutch stuff, I mean, this is fairly on brand for the Dutch over the years, so.
There isn't really any markings to see. I mean, there's one in there. Not that the camera could probably pick that up from here, but...
Yeah, there's really not a lot going on here. Very little going on inside. It's very simple. There's no peripheral seal or anything.
Not that it's uncomfortable or doesn't seal very well. I mean, at the period, this was kind of a high-tech mask at its time.
And you've got a good chin stop. You can see how big the inhale valve is, which is very nice.
Go see it a little bit here. So yeah, just no deflectors, nothing. Just an inlet valve. I mean, not even very German, because even the Germans had some semblance of a deflector. So very, very. What are you fucking looking at? Anyways, what else can we say about it?
This is a serious question. If you are a European who actually has a good answer for this, I really appreciate it. Because this and a couple other masks that I have, these straps, really, really damn long.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Is that, I mean, they seem a little...
There's no way that's due to loss of elastic. I mean, obviously they're less elastic than they used to be, but the actual physical material is that
it's still stretchy.
Each of these straps is at least a foot long, if not longer.
It has to be stretched out. I mean, I can't think of any other reason why it would be this fucking long.
Yeah, but that doesn't happen to U.S. masks as bad.
No, it doesn't really. I mean, I've seen plenty of U.S. World War II service masks, like M3, M4 lightweights. They do that sometimes.
Actually, and I mean the SR8 is like that as well.
Well, yeah, but like on the whole, I mean. Yeah, you really only see this stuff with European elastic, and I don't really know why.
Sorry, we didn't actually ask a question there. You'll figure it out, I'm sure.
Someone will tell us regardless.
Or not.
Or not. We don't really care. We're just kind of curious.
So, yeah, other than that, there's not much. Like, the molding's fine. You don't
really
even
good.
notice the quality of the molding just because it's there. It's solidly there. It's well done. There's nothing exceptionally crazy or chaotic. It has it
has temple. Well, that's weird.
There are no temple buckles.
There's
cheap. So there's no temple straps, right?
Yeah, no. It's like temple bridges.
There's no temple bridges, but there are cheek bridges.
Yeah, cheek strap bridges, yeah.
And there's nothing up here.
No.
So that is kind of curious.
That is very weird, actually. I wonder why they would want that sort of alignment down there, but not up top.
For the benefit of those who want to ask but are afraid to, can you explain bridges?
So, temple bridges are kind of a holdover from interwar era U.S. mask design, where we kind of realized that having a sort of bracket to align those temple straps helped keep the harness centered properly, and it really helped keep the face piece kind of aligned on one's face. It's kind of hard to describe, but effectively having a bridge across the harness kept it from going this way and that and all over the place, and the temple straps, I guess, were really the big problem area, where we wanted to put all the focus of tension on the temples, and we didn't want those to be off-center, and we wanted those to be as strictly maintained as possible.
Can I borrow your head for a sec?
Go for it.
Because obviously right here on most people, including him, this is a very narrow spot with a lot of complex geometry, and then your eye's right here. So you really want a good seal here. It's very difficult to get a good seal there. And so that extra little bit of pressure right on that specific point, pressing in like that, really helps to seal it around what's basically a pretty difficult corner to work otherwise.
That was something that we quickly figured out during World War I, and we've been putting a lot of effort into getting that right ever since. I mean, we stopped... The last U.S. mass-used temple bridges was pretty much the M17. Like, we were doing it all the way up until, like, the 80s.
And, of course, there are other solutions to it. You'll see things like this, where it has this whole ass extra tab here out of the rubber.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
it does that in the other spots as well, but just that extra little bit of pressure.
They didn't
there,
need to add that there.
It helps a lot.
But they did. So, yeah, just very interesting design. There's not a lot to say about it once you actually handle it. There's definitely quirky aspects like the industrial threaded outlet, and just we don't really know what their original plan was. It's just all speculation at this point. So just interesting, very, very curious design from the post-war years. And then the Dutch ended up adopting FM12s, was it?
Oh, they adopted C3 or lags.
Oh yeah, that's right. We did. I literally just had one of those, and I threw it.
Or am I getting them confused with the?
No, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they had C3s. Like the one I just tossed away, except they had the plastic outlet covers. Remember? Those cone-shaped ones?
No, you're right, yeah. I always get them in the Danish.
I'm pretty sure they... Fuck, did they? I think they adopted FM12s at some point, didn't they?
I believe so.
Everyone and their fucking mothers adopted an FM12 over there. If not, I think I heard something about the Dutch adopting M50s. I could have sworn someone mentioned the Dutch adopting M50s. I could be making... Someone over there did. Not my territory. That's not my knowledge.
Anyway, pretty interesting little mask. They're breaking the cardinal rule here, but
they're trying. Damn it,
they're not hard to get. So if you want one, you should get one. They're pretty fun to look at. They're pretty fun to mess around with.
They're getting a little bit difficult to find in decent condition. A lot of them are going to be very discolored and dry rotted, but other than that,
that's Dutch rubber. Like 90% of Dutch masks.
That's just going to be an inherent thing with that Dutch green rubber. So it's whatever. It's a good display piece, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Which is what masks really should be, anyways. But I digress. But yeah, that's really all I needed to say about it.
That's all I got. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you have any comments, questions, corrections, or concerns,
this is my video. This is my video. You don't comment on my videos unless we're cool.
If anyone comments on these videos, you will be blocked. If anyone dislikes these videos, we will find your profile and block it. We will blast you on Twitter. We will find out where your you'll find out your.
My brother-in-law is a Reddit moderator.
His brother-in-law is a Reddit moderator. He will nuke your account. He will ban you. We will find your LinkedIn account, and we will give you bad reviews on Yelp.
And we will also attach a horse to the wall of the nearest domicile.
And set it ablaze. Happy end.
Bingus.
Bongus.